Welcome to Dualshock'd, the Brotherhood of Geeks PlayStation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brett J. Rasmussen, and over here I got my other co-host. That way, over there I got my other co-host.
You got Spectre.
Yeah! What's up, Spectre?
Not a whole lot. Just enjoying the quarantine here, and
self-isolation in a
self-isolation.
box.
Yeah, no, just I mean, it's I mean, I'll say one thing. I mean, what's
just voguing, just like in a box.
I think we can all agree this is a great time to play games, and it's really freed up a lot of time, I think, for everybody to actually play some games. So I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm playing a ton of Doom right now. I have my review. Yep, I had the review complete for that.
Yeah. Go check that out. It's rad.
Go check that out. Yeah, definitely. And beyond that, just kind of playing for a bunch of crap right now. I mean, just really, it's like I said, you have a lot of time on your hands. I mean, with a situation like this. So
yeah, you are not wrong. I completely agree with you there. Like, I'm pretty much kind of going through my backlog and also kind of getting ready with all the other new games that have not been delayed. So, I mean, like, you've been playing a lot of Doom. I've actually been playing Doom myself, and man, that game is fun. Holy crap, that game is fun. Just what you can do, and yeah, geez, it's really fast, really quick, and even playing on the easy difficulty, you still have to be on your toes. You can't, it's not like an easy, you can just...
I told you not to play on the easy difficulty.
No, I played it on normal. I also played it on
that's
easy.
A little better.
Like, I played it on both. Like, I wanted to see, like, I'm like, okay, like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and play it on easy and just mow through this, play through the campaign, get it done quickly, and even then, I'm like, oh, God, this is not as easy as I thought. But no, like, the normal is definitely still even a challenge, so that's a good thing, like, there's that. I haven't played it on hard yet, but, oh, boy, that's, yeesh. I don't know if I could do it on the hard difficulty, because, but Doom has been great. That has been good. I've been close.
Well, you're not as much of a first-person shooter guy in general. I mean, so I give you some credit for kind of stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Though I will say that Doom, unlike I would probably say most shooters, it's really fast. So when you're moving around and aiming, it's very quick. Like, even when you move the camera from left to right, or when you're moving your aim, it's very quick. So it's I'm so used to like Destiny, like Bungie's shooters, where it's a bit slower but more accurate. I'm not saying that things don't get hectic, but like I can kind of control where I'm shooting better. Where in Doom, it's very quick. It's very much that Twitch shooter from back in the day. And that's a good thing. Like, that is not a bad thing at all. Like, I actually really do enjoy it. It has its own feel. Like, when you're in a Slayer gate and you're, like, just have to kill these hordes of demons. It's like, oh, you're just moving around, jumping around, trying to, like, saw down demons and trying to get bullets and then trying to get health and trying to stay alive and then kill these things. Like, it's tense. It does a really good job of feeling tense and challenging. And just fun, pure fun, and I really do like that.
But yeah, definitely check out my review. That really, I think, summarizes my thoughts on it a lot better.
Yeah.
So,
go check that out. We'll go ahead and put a link of that in the eye right up here or in the description below. And then I've also been just finished doing some cleanups. I've been going for my Platinum and Darksiders Genesis.
Nice.
Which is fun. I pretty much have done all of the, like, do this, do that, do this, do that. Now I just have to beat the game on Apocalyptic, like the hardest difficulty, and then just, like, zoom through that and be good. And the good thing is that you can play it on New Game Plus, so, like, once you beat it and get all the tools and power-ups and everything, you can just, like, go play from the beginning with the highest difficulty with all of your powers and everything. So but it's a fun game. It's a fun Diablo clone. You know, it kind of it doesn't add to the story. It just kind of it goes deeper into its lore. So I mean, Darksiders is fun. It's one of those games where it's just like, I have nothing to play. What should I play? I'll play this Darksiders game. Still very much hack and slash. Very much what if you like Darksiders, it is very much that kind of game. But yeah, you know, I've been playing that kind of stuff. And I'll be playing Resident Evil 3. Because that just came out, so I'll be playing that, and there'll be a review of that coming out also. And then soon we'll be playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. So it's been it's good that we're still getting our games. It's still that, you know, some things haven't changed with everything that's happening in the outside world, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's been, I mean, a lot of fallout from this already in terms of events being canceled, and, you know, as we'll get to, you know, games being delayed. But at least, I mean, looking, you know, on the bright side of this, I mean, we are still getting games coming out to some degree, and, you know, the world is still turning to some degree.
Yeah, in some kind of crazy, hectic way. Some things haven't changed, and tons of other things have. So yeah. Oh, but yeah. So should we go ahead and begin?
No, let's do this a couple hours from now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, go ahead.
All right, let's go. Let's go ahead and begin with what we always begin with. News of the nation. I'm done.
Great.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, all right. Let's go ahead and begin. First topic. The ESA sets dates for E3 2021. This comes from gamesindustry.biz. Pretty much it says that the ESA has announced that the dates for the next E3 conference will be June 15th to the 17th of 2021. This news was shared with partners this past evening, which I believe when this went up. And pretty much it's also in the article, it states that E3 2020 was canceled due to the fallout that's happening right now with the virus and crazy stuff that's happening right now. There is no E3 2020. But to continue, another news piece that I do have, and I'll compound this into that, IGN has announced also that they are doing a summer of gaming event, and this is also was on April 3rd. So both of these articles went up on April 3rd as time of recording. Excuse me. This article comes from IGN. It states, quote, that IGN is proud to announce our new Summer of Gaming event, a global digital event set to begin this June to bring you the latest news and impressions around upcoming games and the next generation of console hardware. IGN will be collaborating with a number of partners for the Summer of Gaming, including 2K, Square Enix, Sega, Bandai Namco, Amazon, Google Stadia, Twitter, Devolver Digital, THQ Nordic, and more. Expect more details in the coming weeks. The event will include live broadcast and on-demand programming featuring IGN's editorial coverage of the work of game developers from around the world. And then it kind of continues with, it states with the reason why they're doing it is because E3 has been canceled. They want to kind of reinvigorate E3. It's not E3, but they want to make sure that we're going to get announcements in June. IGN's global coverage spans 112 countries and 25 languages and aims to ensure that fans can enjoy this incredible digital experience regardless of what device or platform that they use. IGN's live programming can be accessed at any one of IGN's more than 20 platforms, so on and so forth, blah, 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 blah. And then it's pretty much so, and it continues, so pretty much what, the reason they're doing this is because E3 has been canceled. So IGN pretty much being one of, if not the biggest video game news companies, they are doing a Summer of Gaming event, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I mean, this is kind of what I expected to happen. Is you're going to have a lot more of these, at least for the foreseeable future, and who knows, this might be more of a permanent trend. I think you're going to see a lot more of these digital events, these live streamed events, things like that. And it's just a one from a cost perspective. It's a lot cheaper than doing like an actual event in like a staged area, but also of course obviously from from the standpoint of the virus, it's a lot safer to do as well too. So makes sense all around. And I mean, they still you still have to have some kind of E3 like event this year. Even though everything's going on, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be announced and talked about, especially if theoretically consoles coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just cancel everything essentially.
Yeah, no, I agree. And with IGN kind of being the people to do this, I'm excited. I'm very happy to hear this. I think this is great news, and hearing about this is a very good thing to happen. And who knows? Maybe we're going to be hearing more. I hope that we hear from more than just those 9. I hope that we get to maybe Ubisoft will be part of it, or Ubisoft did say they want to do their own digital event. And a bunch of others. We know that there's going to be State of Plays happening, which hopefully PlayStation, maybe at the State of Play, PlayStation will announce their system. Who knows? I mean, again, we're going to be finding out more and more in the next few weeks as this goes along. All right. Anything else, Spectre?
No, I mean, I am, like I said, I am glad also going back to what you said earlier that there is, I mean, that we will have an E3 event next year. I am glad about that. I'm not someone that's rooting for E3 to fail. Don't get me, don't get me wrong. It's just that I kind of see the event becoming less relevant over time, but I am still glad to see it out there and that it's going to be a thing still next year. So hopefully by next year we're going to be well behind. This mess will be well behind us, and things will be somewhat back to normal.
So you are looking forward to E3 2021 because there have been people who have said that that because of what happened with the doxing last year and just how the mismanagement that the ESA has kind of been doing in recent years.
Trust me, I am no supporter of the ESA. I am not a fan of them in the least. For other reasons too, on top of the doxing stuff, that's small fries compared to the other stuff that's happened with them. But I mean, it's still I do. The gamer in me does like the fact that we're going to have an event next year, and we're going to have at least some kind of digital event this year. So it's just, I don't know. It's like, if you get rid of it, it's sort of like canceling a holiday, it's just like, I mean, it just doesn't feel right.
One of my final thoughts about it is that, I'm in the same boat. Like, I'm not a fan of the ESA because of the doxing and other things that have happened in the most recent years. But like that doesn't, if you can't do E3, even if it's this year or even next year, like there's going to be E3 next year. It's good. But like with people pulling out, Sony pulling out, and Jeff Keighley is leaving, and so on and so forth, like maybe instead of like E3 itself, have June just be a month where everyone everyone can announce their own things on their own terms. Instead of like, okay, on these 3 days or these 4 days where everyone's packed into a building, you can have the like Sony, Microsoft, Ubisoft, EA, Activision, who else can all announce their games online. Like, I think because of the fallout that has happened, this could change the way we go about things. Like, Nintendo has been doing the Nintendo Directs for years. State of Play has been starting up since last year. So on and so forth. Inside Xbox. Those kind of things. Those might be the better ways to go about it in going forwards. And I'm okay with that. I actually don't mind that because then the message can be more direct and they can kind of control their message a little bit more. So that's my thought on that. And we'll probably be talking about E3 again sometime. Who knows? Let's move on. Let's move on. Next topic. Sony launches $100 million to the virus relief fund. So this article comes from Sony themselves. And it states, quote, the Sony Corporation today announced the establishment of the Sony Global Relief Fund for the virus, a $100 million US fund to support those around the world affected by the virus. Although this fund, through this fund, Sony will provide support in three areas: assistance to individuals engaged in frontline medical and first responder efforts to the virus, support for children and educators who must now work remotely, and support for members of creative community in the entertainment industry, which has been greatly impacted by said virus. And it talks about where it's going to go. So it's going to go to it'll be powered by the UN. So it'll be going to like the MSF, the Medicine Sans Frontiers, United Nations Children's Fund, and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, so on and so forth. Like, pretty much this is just saying that the president and CEO of Sony, Kenichiro Yoshida, is pretty much putting this all out there, and Sony's helping people with what's happening in the world.
Yeah, I mean, very good. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about that, obviously. One thing I have noticed is, I mean, a lot of companies obviously have come out to create like relief funds and to offer charity and things like that in relation to this. And I kind of noticed kind of this weird negative backlash people have. Like you can never satisfy certain people. They're always like, oh, well, if you're given, even that Jeff Bezos guy, Amazon CEO. Like I'm not by no means am I a fan of him, but necessarily, nor do I hate him or anything like that. But I'm just, he said he's giving like a crazy amount of money, $100 million to relief for the virus, and I'm like that's a great thing. That's very laudable. I mean. Yeah. You could say like, oh well, he's a multi-billionaire. I mean, that's like pocket change for him. It's like, well, maybe, but at the same time, he's not obligated to give anything. And same with Sony. There's no obligation for Sony to do this, and I don't think the public is really going to care either way, and it's just kind of a nice thing for them to do, and I think they should get to give some credit for that. They're doing a good thing here. So yeah, I got nothing bad to say about it.
I'm surprised that you said that you have heard people like bash on Amazon, like bash on Jeff Bezos for doing that. Like I'm actually surprised. I actually haven't heard that.
I mean, it depends on where, certain circles, certain social media, things like that. I definitely have noticed a trend where people just I don't know, nothing's good enough for them, I guess. They just, it's like, oh well, and it's just about everything related to this. It's not just about charitable donations. It's about a lot of other things too. Just some people just I think just I don't know, they just like to complain.
Yeah, no, I get you. It's crazy, but it is what it is. But yeah. All right, well, let's move on. Next topic is that Bethesda has stated that they will not be holding a digital replacement for E3 2020. In a tweet from Pete Hines, it states that given the many challenges we are facing due to the pandemic, we will not host a digital showcase in June. We have lots of exciting things to share about our games and look forward to telling you more in the coming months. So, yeah, looks like Bethesda's just like, yep, we're not going to do it. We're not going to go ahead. We're just going to go ahead and just...
Well... I'll be honest. I think this kind of worked in Bethesda's favor because I mean, let's be honest here. What did they really have to talk about this year? They could. I mean, I'm sure they could spend 15, 20 minutes talking about, oh, here's the Doom DLC that we have coming out, which is great. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to that. But what are you going to do for the rest of your event or your show? I mean, what else can you really talk about right now? I mean, your two big games that are coming out. Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield are still years and years away, and who knows, maybe even further away now if they're impacted at all because of this the situation that we have right now. So, I mean, what do they really have to talk about? I mean, what other franchises do they really have, to go on here? I mean, you're going to talk about, I mean, I know they announced like a new IP or new game last year or whatever. I can't even remember the name of it. It was so forgettable. But aside from that, like, what else can they really talk about? I mean, Dishonored is kind of a dormant series now. Wolfenstein is, they've already confirmed that there is another Wolfenstein game in development. So I guess they could talk about that. But I mean, honestly, Wolfenstein is a series that is really, you got two really horrible games, back to back here. I mean, that next Wolfenstein game had better turn, water into wine or something, because otherwise I don't think it's going to really be, it's got to be something pretty incredible to save that franchise at this point. So, I mean, what else do they really, I don't know, am I missing anything? What do they really have to talk about? Some Doom DLC, and that's about it.
Well, there was plans to show off Arcane's Deathloop and Tango Gameworks'.
Oh, that's right, Deathloop. Yeah, that's the forgettable game I was talking about.
And Tango Games Work, Ghostwire Tokyo. Those were two.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Ghostwire Tokyo. If that game actually still is being developed, and I know there were some people that left the project, obviously, famously, but yeah, if that game is still in development, I am very curious about that one, because it actually looks kind of interesting. I give it that. So they did announce at least one interesting newer game that I'm curious about. So
yep. Along with again, because Bethesda has announced that Elder Scrolls 6 exists, and Starfield is another game people have still been asking for. We want to know more about these games, and we want these games to come out and stuff. Which Starfield is probably going to be the first one before Elder Scrolls 6. But those are going to be.
You see, the thing is, I just don't think they have much to really talk about at this point. I think they're still, those games are both still early. In development.
Those aren't coming out this year nor next year. I wouldn't think so. I honestly think that Starfield probably will come out in 2022, 23, and then Elder Scrolls 6 will probably come out 2 to 3 years after that, because they've been working on Elder Scrolls 6. And I honestly do hope that within this long time, since Elder Scrolls 5, like, I do know that this team that works on, I believe, if I'm correct, and Inspector, correct me if I'm wrong, the team that works on worked on Skyrim was also the team that worked on Fallout 4, right? They, like, the Bethesda Softworks team, it's only one team and they work on one game at a time, or do they split and go, all right, you guys are working
I'm not 100% sure about the inner workings there, exactly how they divvy up the teams. No,
okay. I would have thought.
I think you're right, but I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on it.
Because I know you're a big Fallout guy, so I didn't know if you would know kind of like a little bit more of the inner workings.
But yeah, no, like I said, I think this all works in their favor, because I don't really think they have much aside from Doom DLC. I don't really think they have a whole lot to talk about right now. So it kind of works out that they can just cancel an event, because there's just not really much to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, again, it's and with everything kind of coming to a halt, like maybe they did have something ready, but now because the world has kind of stopped in a sense, things have changed. A lot of things have changed. So yeah, no, I'm okay with this. And maybe they'll just kind of put out a blog post, or they'll announce it through, maybe they'll announce something at, maybe they won't make their own digital event, but maybe they'll be a part of IGN's Summer of Gaming, which that would be fine too.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you have a news article on this or not. I didn't look. Obviously, I didn't look at all that stuff before you started this, but also QuakeCon is canceled as well too.
Yeah, that was also part of that. Is that yes, I was. Thank you for bringing that up. But yes, news arrives that also is QuakeCon 2020 has also been canceled, which would have been the show's 25th anniversary. Yes.
Yeah. So sad, I mean, but I get it. I mean, QuakeCon's usually in August though, so I mean, I don't know. Maybe they could have argued to keep that, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
But once again, it's like, what did he really talk about? I mean, last year was basically dedicated to Doom, and then, I mean, Quake Champions is basically, I mean, to be frank, is kind of a dead game right now. So
Yeah, no, I get you there. But yeah. So that is all of the news topics I have. It's really, again, really short, but things have not. There's not a lot that has been happening. So yeah. Should we go ahead and go to our PlayStation conversation?
I guess.
Oh, look at you being so gung ho. All right, well, let's go ahead and begin. This is our PlayStation conversation.
PlayStation.
All right, so Spectre, some big news coming from PlayStation. PlayStation has put out a tweet stating, and I'll pull it up right here. So it states from PlayStation on April 2nd of 2020, an update, SIE has made the difficult decision to delay the launch of The Last of Us Part 2 and Marvel's Iron Man VR until further notice. Logistically, the global crisis is preventing us from providing the launch experience our players deserve. And then they continue, currently there are no other delays to report, but we'll keep you updated. And then also, Naughty Dog comes out with their own statement. Let me pull that up. And they go ahead and have their own response. Let me just quickly pull this up. Computer will go ahead and let me do anything.
Yeah, you're not the PC player.
Yeah, no, that's all you. So, in a tweet, also, Naughty Dog states, quote, as you've likely seen, the release of Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed. We're sure this is news just as disappointing to you as it is to us. We wanted to reach out to all of you in our community to give you a little more information. The good news is we're nearly done with the development of Last of Us Part 2. We are in the midst of fixing our final bugs. However, even with us finishing the game, we are faced with the reality that due to logistics beyond our control, we couldn't launch The Last of Us Part 2 to our satisfaction. We want to make sure everyone gets to play the game around the same time, ensuring that we're doing everything possible to preserve the best experience for everyone. This meant delaying the game until such a time where we can solve these logistic issues. We were bummed about this decision, but ultimately understood it's what's best and fair to all of our players. We're hoping that this won't be a long delay, and we'll update you as soon as we have new information to share. We wish all your families and your friends both the best of health. Thank you for being amazing fans and your continued support. Stay safe, Naughty Dog. And that was tweeted by Naughty Dog, the company themselves, along with Neil Druckmann, so on and so forth. So, Spectre, what do you think about this? What do you think about these, two delays, especially with Last of Us Part 2 just pretty much being ready to come out in, a month?
I mean, it's not all that surprising. I mean, I think actually one of the things I was discussing with somebody else about this, too, was that I think in the future, what you're going to see is, hopefully we don't have situations like this again, like the virus and everything. But in the future, I think, once you're going to hit a point eventually where this, even a situation like what we're experiencing right now won't really delay things, because at that point, pretty much everyone will be it'll become like PC, where pretty much everyone is on digital distribution and physical has basically become a novelty. And we're basically 80% of the way there on consoles right now, but we're not 100% of the way there. So I understand why they would want to delay this for now. And, I mean, they just don't have the ability to distribute it at retail, most likely. Mm-hmm. So it is what they say logistical. I'm assuming that's what they mean. Mm-hmm. So, I kind of understand that, but I think, eventually what's going to happen is, you're going to have a situation where even this won't stop it because everything will just be distributed digital. So it's sort of a product of its time in a way where, it's, I think in the future, things like this probably won't really happen. but yeah. So I mean, what was I guess what was more surprising to me about this was that they delayed these two games, but they didn't delay Ghost of Tsushima, which is coming out very soon in June. So yeah, so I mean, it seems kind of, I don't know, perplexing in a way to me that they would have logistical issues with those two games, but not with Ghost of Tsushima. So that's kind of the mystery here. I don't have an answer for that. It just kind of raises my eyebrow a little bit. It's like, huh, okay. Mm-hmm. Now, so I don't know, but yeah, so that was kind of the most interesting aspect of this to me. Obviously, I mean, elephant in the room for you and me is, I mean, you're obviously a huge fan. It's probably one of your favorite games of all time. And for me, I think when I played The Last of Us, it was incredibly overrated and forgettable. So I didn't even finish the game even.
Which in Spectre terms means he hates it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. For the original Last of Us, at least, I don't hate the game, like hate it. I mean, there's very few games I actively hate, and it's I don't hate the game. I just think it's very dull, boring, and pretentious and overrated. But I don't hate the game. I don't think it does anything that's actively just revolting, essentially. So I don't know. Maybe Last of Us 2 could be different because it seems like they're really. I mean, especially the I hate to say it, the studio behind it definitely has a kind of an agenda that they set out for, and it's hard for me to say that because I really like Naughty Dog. Obviously, I love Crash. I always loved Crash, and they were the original developers. But it's yeah. I mean, obviously, it's not a game I'm looking forward to. I know you're very much looking forward to it. I don't even intend to play it, so I won't purchase it or play it. Really, pretty much the only way I will ever get this game is when it inevitably becomes free on Plus, years down the road from now.
Yeah.
So that's the only way I'll ever get Last of Us 2, and even then I won't download it. I'll just add it to my list. Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, I guess that's kind of my thoughts on it in general. I mean, I know for you it's a bummer, and I'm sorry, man. It's like
no, they delayed my game. No,
I will say, in situations like this, I mean, you count your blessings because, I mean, like I said, we did get a great game. I think that even you are enjoying with Doom. It sounds like. So I mean, we have a great game right now. We have. I know you are in the process, or have already done a review for another really fantastic game that just came out as well too, with Animal Crossing. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we got a couple of great games here. We have what I hope to be a great game coming out in June, which is really, I mean, we're already in April here, so I mean that's not far away. That's just like a month and month and a half or so away.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it sucks, but I mean, it's who once said that phrase, and it's kind of a cop. I think it was Shigeru Miyamoto said that phrase, like a delayed game will eventually be good. A rush game, is bad. Something like along those lines.
Yeah,
he said something like that.
I get you. Yeah. No, I mean, again, I am saddened. I'm not upset. I'm more like a sad.
Did you cry?
No, I was just like, dang, that sucks. But I understand, like. It's crazy because, like, for me personally, I'm like, okay, delay the game. I understand the craziness and what you were saying with the whole selling digital. Like, I'm a physical game guy. If I have the ability to buy it physically, I will. I would even sometimes hold out for if limited run, if I'm like, oh man, like on the PlayStation Store there's Star Wars Jedi Academy and Jedi Outcast that's you can download on the PlayStation Store right now, but I'm like, limited run might be doing a physical copy of those because they've done Bounty Hunter and Racer's Revenge before, and I'm like, I might wait for that to come to limited run. So, but again, I prefer physical, so I am very much one of those, like.
And I think that's more of a thing on console, especially that physical is usually preferred. For me, I mean, like, I still play. I mean, I'm you can call me like a hybrid gamer of sorts. I play PC and console, but for me, for either platform, I mean, obviously for PC, pretty much everything's digital at this point. But for console, it's really just whatever is. When he asked me between physical and digital, it's just I had to ask whatever is most convenient and cheapest. I mean, if there's a physical copy of the game that's $20, but on the store it's going for $40 or $50, I'm obviously going to go for the physical there, or vice versa. If there's a digital sale and the game is marked down to like $10, but you can't find it anywhere physically, then I'm just going to download the game. What do I care as long as I get to play it? But I mean, I do collect, of course, games. I collect some retro stuff, and I do have, it does have a place in my heart, and even for PC, I mean, in my room right now, my office here, I have a pretty large box collection of old PC games, which are, they're all obsolete at this point, but it's just kind of cool to look at those and look at the shelf and see those. I do have, it does have a place. I do like game merchandise and physical games to some degree, but I think, for me, it's just kind of, I've sort of moved on beyond that. But I think for console though, and Sony, I think, realized this too, is that there still is a significant percentage of the market that, purchases physical, and they have to, they have to understand, they have to kind of, respect that to some degree.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, that's why, like, for me personally, I am okay with this. The other thing that I've been hearing about, or kind of been seeing, is that with this announcement, there are people who are upset about this, like, actually angered and mad and going, I've heard, and again, this is all hearsay, but I've been seeing that people are upset about this, saying that just saying to Naughty Dog, admit what you mean to say. Don't tell us that this is getting delayed because of what's happening in the outside world because of the virus. You're delaying it because you want to put it on the PS5. You want to put it as a launch title. Just tell us that you want to put it on the PS5, and that's fine. And I'm like, guys, calm down. Like, things are crazy right now, and like, this game was ready. They pushed it back, and the other problem that we also do have is that we've heard articles, and we've talked about this on a past episode of Dualshock'd for the news, is that Naughty Dog as a company is very much a perfectionist type of company. Sony, with all of their money, is able to just, because they're able to sell so many copies of the game, from Naughty Dog especially. Sony goes, oh, you need to delay it because it's not perfect yet? Here, go ahead, delay it. But the studio is always in a constant state of crunch, or maybe not constant, but like it's perfectionism. And there's also that part added on top of what's happening in the outside world. So I mean, there's a lot of other X factors that are happening to this. I would have believed if everything was normal and the world wasn't ending, I believe it was gonna. I would believe it would be coming out at the end of May, but it's not. And I would say this game, Last of Us Part 2, is bigger than Ghost of Tsushima. Like, this is, from Sony's wheelhouse, the most anticipated game coming from PlayStation, hands down.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima, of course, being a new IP, had that same level of hype or a fan base behind it. But still, I mean, I don't know. We'll see how this game performs. I mean, it's definitely. I don't know, some of the choices it seems that they've made and the way they've kind of presented this game so far. I don't know if it's going to rub everybody the right way. So, I mean, we'll see. I'll be very curious to see what the reaction will be to this game. So, I mean, yeah, but I mean, yeah, definitely obviously the first one was very popular, and I'm sure this one will sell pretty well as well too. But yeah, no, we'll kind of see how that turns out. But just, yeah, definitely some of the design choices will be interesting to see how they pan out for the fan base.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I am always okay with games getting delayed as long as it's being worked on to make it better. I'd rather have a game being delayed than rushed out to gate, and it's like meh. Um. So yeah. I also just wanted to double check something. I may be wrong, and I want to go ahead and be
You're
wrong.
probably wrong.
Probably wrong. I'm wrong about a lot of things. All right, I guess I can't find it. But yeah, with all these delays, and then Iron Man VR is the other one that got delayed, indefinitely, and that's not as big of a game as Last of Us. Um, but that's still another game, especially if you have a VR. Who knows? I haven't been able to play it, but like there have been a lot of positive talks about Iron Man VR, and it can be really good. And with these two delays, who knows if Ghost of Tsushima could get delayed too because of this? Like, who knows how long this is going to last?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely possible. Yeah, I mean I really didn't say much about Iron Man. Obviously, once again, it's definitely not my game. I'm not a Marvel fan in the least. I don't care about Iron Man. I don't care about the Avengers or comic books really in general. It's just not my thing. But I am curious about the game from a standpoint of that. We're still waiting for that kind of big tentpole VR title that must buy VR title. We haven't really seen anything or could point to that. I mean, we just had a very it's interesting because we just had a very successful VR game come out on PC with Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah.
So it's it's interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see if there can be kind of another console equivalent to that, because I don't see that. I don't see Half-Life coming to console. I guess potentially they could, I guess, but I just don't know if the PlayStation VR could handle it, essentially.
I mean, I think the PSVR could handle it, but I don't think it's going to be, if it comes to consoles, it's not going to come to consoles for another year. At least I would probably say, if it comes to like, the PSVR or the like the Vive or whatever, like it's supported or whatever. Like, yeah, and I think they wanted this Iron Man game to be like one of the must-buy games for the PSVR. It looks really good. Like, I saw the trailers, and what I've been hearing, it looks really good. But again, it's with VR games, you need to have it in your hand. Like, you need to experience it in order to really know. So, there's that. But kind of just jumping off of that, because these games have been delayed, and we've been talking about delays of games even before all this has been happening. Like Avengers got delayed, Cyberpunk got delayed, but it wasn't because of what's happening in the world. It's because the game's not ready. Now these two games have been delayed because of the last reason I believe is that they're delaying it is that some countries may be able to get it. So like because Naughty Dog is based in San Francisco, they can they'll make it, or wherever they manufacture it, and maybe they'll be able to manufacture it, but they'll be able to get it to only the US, but then Europe won't be able to get it on the date, because of kind of the borders are kind of locked up outside of essential items and essential packages. So some people may be able to get them before then, and like because the internet's the internet, spoilers will go up, and people will find out, and people will get spoiled and stuff like that. Like, they want to make sure that everyone gets it at the same time, which I'm okay. That's fine. That's another good reason. But people complaining about, you're lying, this is coming to the PS5, or don't tell us this or whatever. Like, tell it's going to come to PS5. I can see their points. I understand why they're like, well, why are you delaying it? If it's ready to go, it's ready to go. Why are you delaying it if it's ready? But I from business wise, from Naughty Dog's business mind, I can see why they're doing it, because as you said, people who buy it physically, digital copies, whatever, like people who pre-order digitally, they'll be able to preload it and be ready. But people who buy them physically won't be able to get them, or everyone who wants to get them physically won't be able to get them. And we're not at the point where everyone buys digital. Like digital is the constant, and physical is now retro or like a tiny niche. It's still very much 60-40, 70-30 digital versus physical. There's still a large amount of people who will still buy a physical version of the game over.
I wouldn't say it's a large people. It's the people that buy physical are definitely in the minority. That's 100% true. It's more like I think it's at this point it's like a
no, but what
70, 30.
what I mean is like yes, it is. It's very much we're coming to the point where digital is becoming more. There are more people buying digital games or digital items off the PlayStation Store than physical. But what I'm talking about, even that subsect, that 30%, let's even go with the smallest number, that 30% right there, that's still a massive amount of people. Just overall. I'm not saying that it's bigger than digital. I'm not, because numbers have shown it. But that's still tons and tons of people who may not be able to play it if they're just like, well, you can only buy it digitally. And then that goes, well, I've already pre-ordered it. I already threw money at it. Why do I have to go ahead and, like, there's a lot of logistical problems with that. Like, delaying it so that way everyone gets it is fine. But I can also understand why people are going, just tell us it's going to the PS5, because their brains are going, well, the PS5 is coming out in the next few months. What you haven't said what launch games you have for it. Last of Us is the perfect one. You should just put it there. So there's a lot of like questions and variables and things that are out there. For me, I'm very much going like, guys, relax. Like, there's a ton of games you can still play. You can go into your backlog. There's still normal games that are still being released, like Doom, like Animal Crossing, like Predator, like Final Fantasy VII, all that kind of stuff. Like, there's still Resident Evil 3, so on and so forth. Like, there's still games that are coming out. You can still play them, and then if you haven't, go to your backlog. Like, and we'll get into that a little bit. But again, it's just everyone calm down. It's like delay the game, have it be ready. I'd rather have a good release. And hey, maybe the good thing is that Naughty Dog has stated that there was going to be no multiplayer in Last of Us Part 2. Though multiplayer in Last of Us Part 1, there is a fan base who plays it. And hey, maybe with this extra development time, because it's now being delayed indefinitely, if the game is ready, you can now go, hey, let's throw in a multiplayer. Let's put the multiplayer that we have from Last of Us Part 1, Last of Us 1. We'll just throw it in, we'll put it in here.
I don't know about that. I mean, I mean, you can't just be like, this close to launch, essentially be like all of a sudden like, oh, hey, let's add a whole nother mode. I don't see that happening.
Well, I'm not saying that it will. I'm just saying like they're delaying it indefinitely. Do something else to go like, all right, well, you're delaying it. Can you give us something like, a little extra something? Because I know that there's gonna be people out there going like, okay, well, you're delaying it. Give us something else. So I don't know. They don't have to, but who knows what's going to happen. But speaking of kind of like backlog and everything, with these games getting delayed, like, games aren't coming out because they can't come out because of they can't reach people or whatever. Now we have all the time in the world because we're locked in our houses. What is kind of your opinion on going into your backlog?
On going into my backlog?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, well, for me, it's like this is part of the reason why I'm never. I mean, there's not many delays where I'm really heartbroken. It's I always. I mean, there's always a ton of stuff to do. It's. I mean, for me, I just have. Even let's say if there was no games that came out within the next like year or so, I'd have plenty of stuff to play. It might not all be like the stuff I want to play so much right now, but I mean, there's definitely tons of stuff for me to play at this point. So, I mean, I know, like I said, we were just talking about. I'm going through Terminator, Terminator Resistance. I got like a quarter of the way through that game. Doing that, there's what else am I playing right now? I got Control because that was on a sale. So that was really cheap, and I picked that up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of games I really don't like paying full price for unless it's something I really really want to play.
Yeah.
Like Doom, I paid full price for, but I definitely don't have the desire to do that for something like Control. So I got that on sale. I play World of Warships a lot. That's kind of my game. So
Mm-hmm.
it's there's no shortage of stuff for me to play, and plus I play on PC too, so there's a lot of stuff there. And plus, even in early June, actually, I have a game coming up that I'm looking forward to with Command and Conquer Remaster, which is actually looking to be really well done from what we've seen from that so far.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Command and Conquer is, I mean, easily I would put it in, as a franchise, I would put that in my top 10 or,
Mm-hmm.
games of all time. It just really was a huge influence on me. I probably never would have gotten into like Warcraft, for example, without Command and Conquer. It probably wouldn't have happened. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So I mean, yeah, there's tons of stuff for me to play, and I know there's tons of stuff for you to play because I see your trophy list and stuff like that. There's definitely a bunch of stuff
Oh yeah.
you need to get through.
Oh yeah. No,
So there's
don't worry. I know that. Like, and as I said, like I'm finishing up Darksiders Genesis. Like, having this kind of time where we have to be locked into our houses. Like this gives like us as gamers, like go into your backlogs, go and play something that like you bought forever ago, or like as we say here on the show, there's tons of games that come out on Plus, and we always say, hey, just add them to your library. Just go ahead and add them to your library. You never know if you like them. Even if
yeah.
if you only buy the Call of Duty, the yearly Call of Duty, and the yearly sport game, and maybe another game on top of it, and now you've you've done everything in the multiplayer, and you've done everything in your sport game or whatever. Go and see what you got free on Plus. Maybe you'll find a cool indie game, or maybe you'll find a AAA game that was given to you for free, like Shadow of Colossus, or Uncharted 4, or even Last of Us 1. Like that was a free game on Plus months ago. Like, who knows? There's all those kind of things. I think this, as a gamer, like, yes, it sucks that like we're probably all getting a bit stir crazy, because I know I am. But like you can go into your backlog and enjoy other different games, even though some games are coming out, some games are not. Like, play your backlog. Like Resident Evil 3 just came out. We're going to be getting Final Fantasy 7 within the week, which is great. And like Final Fantasy will definitely take up a lot of time. But if we're going to be locked into our houses for like the rest of April into May into June, whatever, like if this doesn't stop, like we have to be here, and who knows how long this takes. As a gamer, you can go into your backlog and enjoy some of the games that intrigued you and the reason why you bought them because it was on sale or whatever. Go ahead and enjoy them, or maybe you'll pick up an old game that you used to play that you beat, but you want to pick it back up because, oh man, I used to love playing this game. That's another thing too. Like, if you dust off your old PS3 or PS2 or PS1, whatever, play Crash Bash on the PS1, play Kingdoms of Amalur on the PS3. That's one of my favorite games of old on the PS3.
And actually, I mean, that another good point to bring up too. And I hate to say it, actually, this was a small piece of news that I think we forgot about too. I believe very soon, within the next month or two, Sony is actually disabling the messaging feature on PlayStation 3.
Oh wow!
I forgot to mention that earlier, but at least I think I'm not sure exactly how it works, but at least the messaging to like PlayStation 4 and stuff like that. So I think I'm not sure if the service is completely shut down, but I guess it was a not insignificant part of their server maintenance, and it was kind of a bottleneck for them of some sort. So they are taking that down. So with that being said, how that relates to your backlog, and especially from a trophy hunter perspective, I mean, there could be, in theory, one day a time when maybe PS3 just isn't able to connect to the PSN network anymore. Who knows? Mm-hmm. That could happen. I mean, the PS3 is, I mean, it's hard to believe it now, is a 14-year-old system.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows if they're going to support it forever. I'm sure they're going to keep, the store running for as long as they can, because I'm sure there's still people that buy things on it. I know I bought something, I think last year on it even. And, even the Vita, store as well too. But eventually there could be a point where it's like, okay, we're moved on. We're in the PS, this is the PS5 is out and we just don't really see any activity or sales on it. It's not really worth our server resources to keep this up. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this. So I could foresee a scenario where that happens. So, I mean, what I'm trying to do, what I might start doing is I have I recommend this for anybody that has like a backlog, just, because just have like a list, like make a Word document list on your computer or on your phone or whatever, and have like a list of games that you definitely want to get to, especially if you're a trophy hunter.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And have a list of games you want to get to, and it kind of like categorize them in a way. Like that's what I do. I categorize it by like, okay, this game has online requirements. This game is on PS3 or whatever, and that way you can kind of sort of prioritize things. Like it kind of serves as a reminder to me. Like, okay, I mean, I can play whatever game I want. Obviously, this is all just fun, but it's like, okay, I know I have to get back to this game eventually because it has online servers and eventually they might shut them down. So I do at least want to make a little bit of progress on that. Like Doom, for example. I mean, Doom has online. I mean, Doom Eternal just came out. So, I mean, the servers are going to be around for a while and stuff, but who knows how long it's going to be an active game for the multiplayer, because there's multiplayer trophies for it.
Yeah.
So, it's just good to have like, kind of, I guess, have some degree of organization when you're looking at a backlog, which a lot of people are right now. And for PS3, in the case of PS3, I think what I'm going to have to start doing, I really wanted PlayStation 5 to be backwards compatible. But what I'm going to have to start doing is I'm just going to have to hook up my PS3 again and just start going through some of these games. So I have like about, I think like 9 or maybe even 10 games that I really would love to finish and, have the platinum for and everything on my list.
Yeah.
And eventually there could be a point where we just can't do that anymore. And I'm sure there's games on PS3 that you want to finish or you'd like to have finished on your profile. And I mean, who knows? One day that just might not be an option anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, Naughty Dog shut down the servers for Uncharted 2 and 3 for the multiplayer. So, like, me and my brother told me about it, and me and my brother got on, and I'm like, I'm just going for the platinum. I'm not going for 100% trophies. So I just got online with my brother, and me and him played a few matches and whatever, and I just got the trophies, the online trophies that mattered for the platinum, for the base game. So that way, in order for me to go back on the PS3, if I wanted to go in platinum Uncharted 2 and 3 on the PS3, I can get the plat. I can go ahead and do it, and the platinum's there. Bam, done.
And that's another good kind of trick to it as well too. Is a lot of times you can, at the very least, unless the game is just purely online or something like that, go ahead and go back and finish the online trophies, and then you can always just come back and do the single player later. Like I did that for I still need to do, I've yet to do my full Deus Ex Mankind Divided trophy run. Because that's going to be a big undertaking. Like it'll take me probably like a week or two at least. I'm going to devote all my time to it. Yeah. But what I did was like, okay, I'm worried about the servers being shut down. So I went ahead and I did all the trophies related to it's that game's weird. That's probably not the best example. It has a quasi multiplayer. It's not really a multiplayer mode. It's more so like a, how can I even describe it? It requires online servers. Okay. So you have to be online to be able to get the trophies. So I went ahead and I did all those right away. That way, no matter what happens, I can still go back and do that.
Yeah, no, I get you there. But again, with closing thoughts and everything that's happening, like it's okay to, things are crazy and we need some kind of escape and some kind of way to kind of deal with all of this. And if it's not gaming, like, again, that's what we do. We are gamers. But if your thing is reading, or if it's,
you have a drug addiction or something like that. I mean,
shut up, Spectre. No, shut up, Spectre. No, just like if you need to exercise or do things that you enjoy, do things that, that are beneficial and make you happy. And like to us, that's gaming. We love games, and we play them because we enjoy them. And it sucks with everything that's happening. We have to be locked into our houses, but use that time wisely. Draw, do art, do things that you enjoy, whatever it would be. It does not matter if it's gaming, if it's drawing, if it's singing, if it's exercising, if it's reading, if whatever. Do things that make you happy. And for us, we love to play video games. That's what we do, and that's why we're going into our backlog, even with game delays and everything closing down. That's what we like to do, is that we are going into our backlogs. If you're a trophy hunter, go for those lost platinums that you haven't gotten yet, that you're meaning to go after. Or just play old games that you either haven't played yet, or games that you've beaten but you love them so much you go back to play them again. So yeah, I think that's all I got. Anything else from you, Spectre, about that?
No. That's all I really have right now. I mean, like I said, I really hope that, like I said, I feel sorry for you that your game was delayed here, but I really hope that Ghost of Tsushima is still going to come out on time, which it looks like it will. And because I'm actually very interested to play that. So
if it gets delayed, like Last of Us, like if it gets delayed indefinitely, will you be okay with that, or are you going to be upset?
I won't be like upset. No, I mean, really, the only thing like that would actually make me upset at this point would be like if they delayed the Command and Conquer remaster, because I really do that's the one I really want to play, even more than like Cyberpunk or anything like that. I just want to go. Cause that game is so near and dear to my heart, and it's a game that I know I'm going to love. So I would love the chance to to go for that and play that again and everything. And actually, it's going to be even better than what we had before, because the original Command and Conquer came out in the 90s. It was before we really had multiplayer, and this time around they're going to have a more robust multiplayer feature. I mean, to do multiplayer on original Command and Conquer. I think I had to do like some kind of LAN situation with my friend. That was the only way to actually play multiplayer on it, and it was very, it wasn't really supported all that well. So no, I'm that would be the only game that if it got delayed, that would be kind of like, really, like I was looking forward to this. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I definitely would love to. I got the collector's edition and stuff. I'm very much ready for Ghost of Tsushima, on the date that it's supposed to come out here. So hopefully it does not get delayed.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you there, because I'm looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima too. But yeah, all right. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening and watching in these crazy times. Please let us know what games you guys are playing in these crazy times. Are you looking forward to Last of Us Part 2 or Iron Man VR, or if there's any other games that you are excited for? Please let us know. But guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/Brotherhood of Geeks. Like, comment, share. Let us know what you guys think. Let everyone know about us, that you enjoy listening to us. We have reviews. We have other things, all that kind of good stuff. Go check out our Doom review, because that's there. And the Animal Crossing review, that'll be here or coming out. One of those two. I don't remember. But all this kind of stuff. We have other reviews. Go check them out. Also, press the bell icon. That way, whenever we put up a video, we put up a video. You can also follow us on Twitter at Dualshock'd, BOG. This is the name of our PlayStation podcast, Dualshock'd, BOG. You can also follow us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/The Brotherhood of Geeks. And then you can also follow us and watch us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Brotherhood of Geeks. Woo! Okay, there you go, Spectre. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, so
good stuff.
It's hopefully I guess we'll be seeing how things go day by day, week by week. I mean, we got Resident Evil 3 is already out, and Final Fantasy is coming out very soon too. So at least we're getting some good games coming out too. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. Alrighty then. Well then. I'm Brett J. Rasmussen.
Spectre.
And as always, live to play, play together. We'll see you guys next time.